Hello and welcome to another art video. I am finally getting around to finalizing the video of the promised Seahorse video, the final Seahorse. So if you saw my last video, I showed a process where I was painting 3 different seahorses, and I went from kind of super lousy to slightly less lousy to maybe kind of decent. So if you haven't watched that video, I will link to that video in the description of this video below. But I did mention in that video that those 3 seahorses were not my final. Those were not the last ones. The last one is the one you're watching right now. So this one I really did feel like was the strongest one. I really wanted to improve as much as I could from the first 3. And even from, I was really proud of the blue seahorse that I did. That was the 3rd one. Or the final one in the last video. And I really liked it. I was really proud of it, but I still wanted to push myself and make something even better if I could. So I just thought, because as I was doing it, I kept thinking of these little things that I could just tweak ever so slightly and just try it a little differently the next time. And so that's kind of what I did. So again, starting with the watercolor pencils, which is awesome. So these color pencils, they behave like watercolors when you get them wet, which is awesome. And yeah, then I moved in and I added water to it, just to give it a nice little wash at first. So yeah, that was basically my first step, was just putting everything in with the colored pencil, the watercolor pencil, just to sort of outline where I wanted, the different details and kind of the hints of 3-dimensionality. And then, finally going in with the paintbrush and the water. And I don't think I was adding any color with my first layer of water. I think I was just bringing in the color exclusively from the color pencil that I had laid down. So that gave the seahorse just the slightest, palest tint of pink when I added the water, and then just, made the whole body of the seahorse just a little bit damp. And then I went in with my watercolor markers, and once the seahorse was all wet, the whole body was wetted down, I added just a little bit, that touch of yellow at the 2 tips, at the nose, or at the snout, and at the tip of the tail. Just to add a slightly different color, just so it wasn't solid pink. And then I think I used my light pink watercolor marker to sort of start to add in a little bit of the shadows here. But again, just layering, just little by little by little, just going from lightest to darkest very, very slowly. And then adding the darker pink watercolor marker to go in and add the next layer of shadows, just to try to give, the seahorse a little bit of its shape. Because seahorses, they've got these really cool bodies, right? Where they're just all the way down their body in, I don't even know how many rows, are just these concavities, these craters, these little indentations all the way down. And it just, it makes them look so cool. So I was just trying to kind of add in I don't know what the word is, but I wasn't even really going for realism, but just trying to convey that, that hint of that shape. So again, just going in with the darker pink, just layering it in. And part of this was experimentational for me. I really don't have a lot of experience with the watercolor markers, and so this was a lot of fun and just good practice, just to test myself and see what it would look like, see what effects I could get, see what different things would do. And that was one of the purposes of really all 4 of the seahorses, was just to practice and experiment and just push myself to see, to try to notice things, or, and this happened naturally, I think, as I was going through the earlier pieces, thinking, oh, I should try this next time, or, oh, I wish I hadn't done this that way. And so with this 4th and final one, I was kind of able to attempt the things that I had been thinking of with the blue seahorse that I wanted to try, and I think ultimately it turned out well. It did require a lot of layering, as you can see, lots of going over it again and again and again with that darker pink. And and the funny thing is, like, it looks so dark when it goes on, but then a few minutes later, sometimes it dries a little bit lighter. So there was just, I had to just kind of keep going over a lot of those just to give that that hint of those indentations, those little shadows. And when I talk about, trying to create the structure of the thing, I certainly was not going for realism. I'm more than okay with the fact that I do not have that skill set. But I do like the painterly look. That's one thing I love about watercolors, is they do have this soft pastel kind of storybook illustration quality about them, and that's what I love. And I feel like, okay, if I can nail that with watercolors, then yay, maybe I'm actually, just maybe I might be doing something right. But it was fun to force myself to just really try with the detail. I used to hate detail when I was younger. I had no patience for it. Really, most of what I did for most of my life was just rough sketching, just sketching and sketching. And every once in a while, I would do a nice cleaned up piece of line art, but I really just did not. I don't know. I had this like aversion to detail. I think it was just I was not practicing patience in that, and I always thought, ugh, detail takes so much time. And it's true that if your underlying drawing is not of good quality, it doesn't matter how much detail you add. It's not going to actually make the piece a stronger piece. However, if you already have a nice strong sketch, sometimes adding some details really can add a nice touch, and it can, it can take things from just a rough sketch to a finished piece. And so that's what I'm kind of forcing myself to do now as a grown-up, is actually make finished pieces as opposed to just rough sketches that I never have any intention of turning into an actual piece of art. So with these seahorses, I'm kind of proud of it. I'm pretty happy with the way this one turned out. I felt like I think with this one, I expressed a seahorse about as well as I can express one with my current skill level. But I'm okay with that, because I can tell, like, I could see the improvement when I just forced myself to do better from one to the next. And I didn't let myself stay satisfied with the first 2 really, really lousy ones. And, and I didn't even let myself stay satisfied with the blue one. I liked the blue one a lot, and I could have stopped there. The blue seahorse that I did before this one. I could have stopped with that one, but I kind of wanted to see, because I really liked it and I genuinely was quite proud of it. But I did also want to see, okay, I like the blue one, but can I do even better? Can I make it even better? And I am really glad that I tried. I'm really glad I pushed myself further than what I thought was really, really good. Because yes, there were definitely some things that I did the same in this piece as what I did with my blue seahorse, but there were also a few things that I tried to do differently. I think the tip of the tail definitely got a lot more detail. I think just in general, I think it just kind of came out better. I think I was more intentional about trying to make all the texture of the seahorse, just with all those craters and what do you call it? The little indentations and then all the little spiny pokey things. I think I tried to plan that out a little bit better with the pink Seahorse than I had with the blue Seahorse, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so I am happy that I pushed myself a little bit further than I thought. You know, I didn't settle for the blue Seahorse. I went for this one. So yay, I'm glad I did that. So one thing I should say is I did let this piece, like I think it took a total, I don't know if I said this already. If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. But I think this piece took me about an hour and a half total to paint. However, that was not all in one sitting. So the dots that I was putting on with the watercolor marker, that I'm pretty sure I waited overnight. I think I did the other paint, like all the rest of it first, and then came back to it the next day, making sure it was really, really dry before I started adding all those dots, because I did not want those dots to blur in with everything else I had painted. I really wanted them to stay nice and crisp. So that was important. So yeah, that was probably the other thing I needed to say about this, was it was not all in one sitting, and yeah, had to let it dry first before adding that final touch of all the those little speckle freckle details. Yeah, going in and adding all these little dots was really quite fun. So I think I used 2 different colors for all the little freckles. I think I had a dark purple and a light purple, so I guess that would be like what, a violet and a lavender kind of. I don't know that. I don't think that was actually the names of the colors technically, but you get the idea. But yeah, it was kind of fun. And if you look at photographs of seahorses, like they actually do oftentimes have this speckly, like they have all these little dots. It's really cute. So I think what I tried to do was adding in using the darker purple to put the little speckles where the indentations would be in the seahorse, and then, where all the little craters would be down in all those rows and columns down its body. And then I added the lighter purple dots to, I think, those spots where it would be, where the convexities would be in the seahorse's structure. But yeah, we're almost at the end. So I just want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing and all those other things. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and hopefully it won't be too terribly long before I, Lord willing, put out another art video. We will see. Not sure what's coming out next, but like I said, hopefully it won't be too long. So thank you so much for watching this one. If you want to see more art video content, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. And until next time, God bless you.